Radio Shack Busters in their original widescreen format. Screen Mercury Tracer LTS.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the new episode of the Multiverse Movie Club. I'm your host, Matt, from the Fortress of Solitude, and joining me is my ever-reliable co-host from the Comic Multiverse, Cape Joel.
Oh, thank you. No one has ever called me reliable before, Matt. I really deeply appreciate that. I had to come here to hear that.
We've got a pretty cool episode for you this week. Joel chose the movie that we'd be watching, and where first episode it was a horror. This episode is an action thriller.
An action thriller, kind of dark comedy too. I feel trying to pin this one down in terms of genre is really why this one ended up becoming the weird cult underground hit it is, because I feel most audiences weren't really gelling with what this movie was selling, mainly because it is so many things at once.
So yeah, if you haven't put together what we're doing, the movie we're doing is the 2007 movie Shoot 'em Up from director Michael Davis.
Who you know from this movie and nothing.
Well, you won't even know from this movie. I don't think a lot of people know about this movie.
And that is the saddest truth of all. I know when we were putting the idea for this show together, you know, Matt, you came to me and you're like, oh, we can talk about our favorite cult movies. And, you know, we can talk about, you know, like great movies we think more people should see. And, you know, like movies that are so bad, they're good. And then my brain instantly went to this one because I'm like, I remember liking this one. Did I like it because it was good, or did I like it because I was in high school when it came out?
Yeah, that's it, yeah, because I haven't seen this film for probably about 12 years, and it's one of those ones that's, like, did I like this because I was 13 when it came out?
Because this one actually got a surprising amount of promotion back in the day. I remember it was like most of the movies I rented from Blockbuster, back when I rented from Blockbuster, this was a trailer on it, and like it had like big standees and everything. Like they thought this was going to be a huge deal. And it also is kind of an interesting film in the lives of the cast of this one. This, of course, stars Clive Owen. This was like the year after Children of Men, when I think everyone was certain that he was going to break out and be like the next big AAA huge Hollywood star. And that didn't really happen for him, did it?
No, yeah, he's like a really weird anomaly. We see them more and more nowadays, where it's like, yeah, like he's like primed to be like you say, Children of Men. I think at the time as well, he was like one of the finalists for the new James Bond, because obviously the year before this came out, Casino Royale with Daniel Craig came out. So then I think he was up for that as well.
I'm so glad you mentioned James Bond, Matt, because this movie has so much Bond connective tissue when you really break it down.
It does, yes.
And yeah, the fact that Clive Owen was pretty close to almost being James Bond, and this is arguably as close as he ever got to actually doing it in a real movie sense, is wild. You look at his IMDb now, Clive Owen, and I'm like, what the hell has he been up to? Oh, starring in a bunch of streaming series I've never seen and never heard of.
Yeah, he's not really done much. I think it was in that weird, what was that Will Smith movie where he fought like a younger version of himself? I think he was like the bad guy in that.
Oh shit, was he really?
I think so. I haven't seen that film like since it came out, and
neither.
It's very, very mediocre film.
He had a small part in Valerian and the Hundreds of Planets, and he is in an American crime story anthology, which is hilarious because he's British. This movie too was also, I think, it might very well have been the first big English language movie for Monica Bellucci, who had only been doing movies in her native Italian before this, and she still kind of speaks a lot of Italian in this movie too.
Oh yeah. I think like this was around the time she started breaking into like more English speaking roles.
And again, it looked like she was poised too to become like the next big hot girl, the next Bond girl, if you will. Didn't really happen, but she settled into a nice thing on television now.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the Bond girl, because she was a Bond girl.
Oh fuck, that's right, she was. That's right. Oh my god,
she was in Spectre, the film no one liked. So it's okay to like forget that. Like it's a film that no one really really likes.
Wow, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've seen Spectre one time too, and yeah, that's right. Clive Owen would never get to be James Bond, but Monica Bellucci would get to be a Bond girl. So how about that? Holy shit! And then of course we have our villain of the piece, Paul Giamatti, which again, movie comes in a really interesting time in his career. I think he had just done Sideways not that long ago, and people finally knew his name. Now he wasn't just like, oh, what a fun character actor who's in the background, and you go, oh, it's that guy. I know that guy. Now he actually gets to play the big bad villain. Now he actually gets to have his name on the poster, and now he's a selling point to a movie.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Like, up until now, you'd never see him in roles like this where he was like the bad guy. I think he did play like some roles in like action movies, but it was never like like an action role.
Yeah, he never got to be the heavy. And I think this is maybe one of the evilest he's ever been, because I stop and think about him like, oh yeah, I guess he was the Rhino for a minute in those crappy Amazing Spider-Man movies. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I guess he played a slave trader in 12 Years a Slave. That's pretty evil. But Hertz, the guy he plays in this, might be the most evil character he's ever played.
He's evil, and I like that he likes that he's evil.
Yes, very much so. Again, this movie very much leans on the fourth wall. It is very meta in a lot of ways, and through Hertz, they kind of get that message across. Because weirdly enough, again, I'm talking about all the genres that Shoot 'em Up is. It's an action movie. It's a dark comedy. It's a conspiracy thriller. It's also an early 2000s message movie on gun control. Because I think, what is it, Virginia Tech had just happened right before this. Again, it's hard to keep all the friggin' American mass shootings straight at this point. But yeah, there was another big massive American shooting. It was in the zeitgeist again. And this is a gun lover's paradise movie that is also trying to talk about gun culture in America.
I think like Columbine or something had like, because I think this movie was meant to come out and I think this movie had was developed in the 90s, or like the director had like the idea for like an action film that was just about guns but not explosions.
Right. I believe he had said before that he was greatly inspired by the work of Chow Yun-fat in Hard Boiled, because there's a great scene in that movie where a dude gets into a big gunfight while protecting a young baby, and he's like, well, what if that was just the whole movie?
Yeah, we got to do that. We got to do Hard Boiled on this show, because I think that's getting a new 4K restoration soon. So it should look pretty cool.
That's a goodie.
Yeah.
That's a real goodie. Also, kind of ahead of its time, too, and it's like, hey, let's have an action movie with a hard-bitten action hero who takes care of a young, cute thing. To think, Mandalorian would come many years later, and to great effect.
Yeah, literally everything nowadays is that whole older man protects younger child thing. Mandalorian, Last of Us, funnily enough, both starring Pedro Pascal.
Oh, shit. God of War, to some degree, too, the last one.
Yeah.
So it's also a message movie, too, about gun violence. And I know we're in an era now where there's so many mass shootings in the States, it's easy to get desensitized by all of it. But this was a moment where it felt like, oh, there might actually be some movement to it. And it's also one of the reasons I was afraid to go back to this movie, too, because I'm like, oh, no, a political message movie from 2007. What if the politics are bad? They might be bad politics, and I just don't remember.
Yeah, that was I had that as the movie was going on. I'm like, as I realized, like, oh, yeah, it's like about gun control and all that sort of stuff. It's like, oh, is this movie going to be like pro-gun, like right-wing, like schlock? It's like, and like back at that time, we didn't know what that really was.
No, of course. So I mean, yeah, should we get into the film proper now that we've kind of talked it up a little bit?
We do get into the film, because literally a minute in, we don't have any credits. We're like right on into a gunfight with a pregnant lady.
Yes. Yeah, this one wastes no time getting started. Like you said, we are just right into it. We see Clive Owen on the bench. He is homeless. He's munching on carrots, which will be a major focal point of his character moving forward. And it's a gimmick that actually makes sense if you listen to the director, because when he put the movie together, he assumed that what he was really making was an ultra-violent update on like the Bugs Bunny, Looney Tunes, Elmer Fudd relationship. In fact, they will be quoting Looney Tunes through the rest of this movie.
Yeah. Clive Owen is basically Bugs Bunny, and Hertz is Elmer Fudd, more or less. Complete with the big gun.
You're a wascally
We get our first of what will be many, many gunfights in the movie known as Shoot 'em Up, where Clive Owen's Smith, again, no one in this movie has a first name, they're all known by their monikers, protects this pregnant lady who is being chased by a group of thugs, and we get a delivery scene gunfight, because the writer-director said that, he wanted to give us gunfights that we had never seen before.
Come on, push! Push!
Yeah, and I clocked it when I started this film. It's 2 minutes until we get into a gunfight in the film.
And, that has to be some kind of record, doesn't it? And It also didn't, it didn't go over my head either, that the first gun we see Smith use in the movie is a Walther PPK pistol, a gun that was made very famous via film because of James Bond.
Yes, and I imagine this is probably some sort of dig that Clive didn't get the James Bond part, because I think at the end of this sequence, after he's used this gun that has unlimited ammo, it seems, he tosses it away and calls it a piece of junk.
What a piece of crap.
Yes, he does. Again, very, very pointed, because, again, this isn't just a movie about guns and gunfights. It's also kind of a movie about guns' place in Hollywood and in cinema and in cool-ass scenes. And yeah, to have them bring that up and have to make that part of Clive's character is so cool. And they keep on doing it, too, because not long after, we're introduced to Paul Giamatti as Hertz, and he's not just wielding any gun, he's wielding a goddamn full-size Desert Eagle, a 50 caliber pistol, the most powerful pistol they made at the time. In fact, I'm pretty sure it still is the most powerful pistol they make. It is so vulgar in its level of power as to be almost, unnecessary. I think you could break your goddamn arm using this. The kickback on it is so insane.
Hertz gets a really funny bit there where he's trying to kill the woman and Clive Owen, and he uses one of his own guys as a bench to lean on, and the guy doesn't lean, so he has to shoot the guy.
I'm bleeding out. Quit squirming and ruining my shot.
Because he keeps breathing. Again, we call that a great moment of, establishing character, that not only is this guy bad to our heroes, he's bad to everyone else around them. Everyone is disposable to him. And, I think he really is one of cinema's worst bosses, even for this kind of genre. And he will lose a ridiculous amount of henchmen throughout this movie. I think Smith kills 120 people by the time this is all done.
Yeah, this movie has quite the heavy body count. Even just in this first sequence, he killed, I don't know how many people he kills in this first sequence. It's 20 people.
Oh, it is truly absurd. Did you also clock, too, that all the henchmen in this movie, they all dress exactly the same? Yeah. Black leather jacket, little beanie skull cap there. They all dress the same. In fact, they also kind of dress like Clive Owen.
Yes, I imagine that is also a logistics thing for the movie. Just be we can just then reuse these same 5 guys over and over again if we just dress them slightly differently in the next scene.
Oh, I can only imagine. I actually remember all these years later listening to the commentary for this movie, and the director, who was really fucking passionate about films and filmmaking, which makes it that much sadder to me that he never got to make anything else, but he went into great detail saying that apparently because he brought this movie in on time and under budget, the studio actually gave him a bunch more money to license cool music for these cool shootout scenes. And right off the bat, they're not messing around, because they bought the rights to Nirvana's Breed, which is a great song to have a shootout to.
It makes so much sense, because this movie is filled with music that not now, but at the time you'd be that's top 10.
We get Ace of Spades by Motorhead. We get Motley Crue over the credits. Yeah, they waste they wasted no time or money giving us awesome kick-ass songs in this, and it's truly amazing that this movie that so many people have forgotten had such a banging soundtrack.
Movies back then in the early 2000s also just had better music soundtracks than a lot of movies do nowadays.
It's very interesting to remember too that this movie came out in 2007. Next year would be Iron Man, and the complete landscape of Hollywood as we know it would change forever, and basically make movies like the one we're watching today a total and complete dinosaur. I just think it's funny. It's we all loved Iron Man, but we loved Iron Man even more because it had a great soundtrack, and he had that AC/DC song that he was allowed to use.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Smith manages to save the baby after all of this chaos. And again, they establish he's the sort of guy who would be willing to save a mother and her baby, but he's not a very good guy. In fact, he is a basically atypical anti-hero who will spend the bulk of this movie talking about all of the things that he hates. That becomes the big running gag.
Yeah, that he lists like his like pet peeves, and like the first one we see is like people who are like old people who wear like ponytails and leather jackets.
Yep.
And he shoots the guy's ponytail off.
You know what I hate? I hate these 40-year-old jackholes wearing ponytails. That ponytail doesn't make you look hip, young, or cool.
Yes, he does. People who don't signal when they merge, guys who park illegally, all things that I'm sure pissed off the real writer-director.
They end up escaping, but the woman ends up dying. Clive Owen takes the baby after cutting its umbilical cord by shooting it, because of course.
Yes, he does. It's pretty great, and again, it's a movie too that I like just the genre and the emotion and everything they're throwing at you. I can understand why this movie maybe has a 6 on IMDb, because your average Joe and Jane popcorn already has kind of no idea what to make of this movie. It hits you like a shotgun blast, and then doesn't stop for like 84, 86 minutes, and you got this like, you know, pretty realistically gross burst scene with him shooting the umbilical cord, him and the villains trading one-liners back and forth, and there's a great sign gag up on the roof while he's escaping where he spells out the letters to make it spell fuck and then spell fuck you.
Fuck you, you fucking fuckers.
Okay, if you've watched this long in the movie, you're either in or you're out right now with that joke, and you should understand the wavelength that this movie is on. This is a dark comedy. This is a live-action cartoon you're watching.
And then not only that, once he jumps over the next building through the window and escapes, Paul Giamatti shoots the sign again, so then it reads, fuck you too.
Yes, excellent. Just mwah.
Oh, you all right? Are you trying to tell me that some bum came to her rescue?
Can we talk about Giamatti too? He's doing a voice here. What is that accent? Yeah. I was not quite able to place what kind of accent he's doing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's just like heard some like weirdo talking, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to use that in a film."
It's such a character actor flourish. You know, I'm kind of here. I'm not quite from New York. I'm not quite Irish. You know what? What am I?
I can appreciate that.
My ass!
And let that be a reminder never to fail me again.
He has the baby now, and he's trying to like figure out what to do with it. I also like the movie never tells you where this is set. Like I think it was filmed in like Toronto or something.
Oh, yeah. Probably. I think it's New York. I think we see, what is it, the Statue of Liberty at one point. I could be wrong.
But I like in these like early shots, we do get like shots of the city, but it's like nameless American city. It reminds me of like, have you seen that recent movie with Tom Hardy in it called Havoc?
I've seen the poster for it.
Yeah, in that it's like big American city, but you don't know what it is, but it's just like this massive city, and it's like industrial and like just big buildings and everything, and you can never get a sense of like where it is. And I kind of like that when movies do that. They don't bother with like, oh, this is like a real life place.
Yes, again, it's any city USA, which makes sense because, again, this isn't a movie that really deals in characters. These are all stock archetypes, so it only makes sense that the city would be equally stock and archetype.
Yeah. So he escapes these guys, and then he starts getting followed by this guy in a suit played by Greg Burke, who's like one of those guys. Just like, oh, this guy always plays like rapists, murderers. Yes. He's one of those guys. He's I think one of like the main henchmen in History of Violence.
Oh, another one we might have to do one day.
Yeah, which I think was released around the same time as well. So it's like all these like actors who had like these big roles in like these big films, like just doing this like little action film.
Yes, his character also doesn't have a name. I think he is only referred to as the Lone Man, or as the guy I called him, the guy with the 44 revolver. Oh, hey, look, Dirty Harry's gun. How about that?
Yeah, he follows Smith into like a bathroom, and Smith is getting ready to like kill him, but his gun falls into like the poop water.
The toilet, yeah, very Train Spotting.
In any other action film, he would just pick up that gun and it would work.
Mm-hmm.
I love this thing where he leaves the baby on the dirty floor, but then opens up like the nappy changing thing and like puts the gun on that. That's really funny.
Yeah, we never see gun maintenance in gun movies, do we? In fact, I think that's something Hollywood has always lied to us, where it's like, oh, guns just work, whatever. No, you gotta actually clean them and upkeep them, or else they're gonna backfire and they're not gonna work right. So to actually see that put into a gun movie, I'm like, oh, that's cool. We never get to see that.
And it's odd in a film like this where we have like, you know, we'll get to it later, but like skydiving while shooting and like, you know, all this like popping off bullets in your hand and that sort of stuff, like all this like over the top stuff. No, we're going to take this moment to like stop and like clean this gun.
We gotta clean the gun out. And then they actually use a hand dryer in a very fun way in the preceding action bit where they keep, you know, fighting for their guns and they keep trying to get them. And Smith manages to burn the Lone Man's hand using a hair dryer. And I'm like, man, I wish I got such good heat off hair dryers these days. I don't know if anyone has used a public hair dryer or hand dryer recently. They fucking suck now. They're all auto. You gotta move your hand back and forth to get them right. That's what I hate. I hate modern day hand dryers. I wish they worked as good as this one.
Yeah, this is one of those old school ones that have like the heating coil in it that like you could probably like cook something on.
Yeah. Not only does he cook this dude's fucking hand, getting him to drop his revolver, but then he also dries out his own gun so he can shoot it. And I'm like, oh, that's really clever.
Yeah, he dries the firing pin because it doesn't work the first time, so he just holds it there and then it works.
But yeah, that's pretty solid. And then obviously we're thinking, well, so this, you know, Clive Owen's Mr. Smith, he's clearly not a very nice guy. Why is he even bothering with the baby? Why doesn't he just, you know, take him to a hospital or a fire station? But no, he does the next best thing. He just takes him to a crowded playground and decides to leave him there.
But it's really funny as well because he's decided to do that. He's decided to do that after like taking his sock off and like making sure the baby is okay. So he cares for the baby, but that's not enough to like keep it.
That actress on the bus with him made me smile so much with her reaction because she's fussing with her own child and sees him takes off his dirty hobo sock and put it on the baby's head. And it looks like she's going to say something. Then she's like, meh, you know, parenthood. We make do with what we have, huh?
I imagine if she did say something, it'd be something that Smith doesn't like. It's one of his pet peeves. People talking on the bus or something.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be quiet on public transit. That's the only way this is gonna work. Is a social contract. You gotta be quiet on the bus. And this leads to our next great shootout. Again, Shoot 'em Up is a hard movie to talk about because there's not really so much scenes as we just go from one shootout to another shootout.
Like a video game, you go from one set piece to the next with little cutscenes in between.
I am so glad you said that. This is 100% a video game movie. It's just not based on any real video game. And isn't it funny when we talk about movies, when we say a video game is like a movie and that it's very cinematic, that's a compliment. But when you say a movie is like a video game, that's somehow an insult. Isn't that unfair?
Yeah, it does. It's never made sense to me. It's never made it you kind of want movies to be video games sometimes. Like this benefits from it being like, oh yeah, this is totally like, you know, a John Woo movie or something like, you know, like a shoot 'em up or something. A literal shoot 'em up.
Absolutely. This is a literal shoot 'em up is what it is. Also, if there was any movie that really deserved to have like a PS2 tie-in game, it's this one, right?
Yeah, it would have been a PS2 tie-in and it would have been like better than it had any right to be, but still not as good as like, you know, the AAA titles of the time.
You know, like that Punisher game that came out with the Thomas Jane movie.
It would be literally that, and it'd be like a Blockbuster exclusive or something, and people wouldn't have found it until like 5 or 6 years after it come out.
Tell me about it. So yeah, the big showy moment here is that, you know, Smith is walking away only to realize, oh crap, Hertz found us. He's got a sniper rifle now, and wait, he just doesn't want to kidnap the baby. This guy is actively trying to kill the baby now with a sniper rifle, and the only way Smith can defend the baby is by shooting the little spinning carousel he's on to make it move around and protect him from the bullets.
It's so ridiculous. Just before that as well, the woman that comes up to try and take the baby is like probably the best actress ever.
Love
because
that.
like the way she delivers her lines is like, look, it's a baby. What's that doing there? And then, bang, just gets fucking blasted by this giant rifle.
There's a lot of fun, like, incidental background characters in this with great delivery. She's one I really enjoy. The lady on the bus I like, and I like the heavy metal club owner later, where it's like, oh, you didn't cast actors, you just cast real people, didn't you?
Yeah, these feel like bit part actors who are actually these people in real life.
100%. Now, here's the thing, you might not have known, Matt. I didn't know until I looked into it, but this whole, merry-go-round bullet thing, apparently they actually tested whether or not this was possible on an episode of Mythbusters.
I do remember that, yes.
They actually did that, and I think that's so cool that this movie that left so little legacy actually had an episode of Mythbusters dedicated to it.
Yeah. I can't remember what the outcome of that was. Did it end up working or not? I remember like it slightly like moved, but like it was like, oh, it's not gonna like spin it.
Nah, it's all Looney Tunes science bullshit is all it is. It didn't work, but sure is cool to see, and also ups the stakes of the movie and changes Smith's mind to where it's like, okay, so I need to actually protect this kid because they just don't want to kidnap the kid. They actively want to murder a baby for some reason, which is, again, for an action dark comedy is a pretty high stake, wouldn't you agree?
It's up there, yeah, and it's also really cool because it like starts like the mystery of the plot. It's like, well, why do they want to kill a baby? Like, it's a baby. What threat is that to anyone?
Mm-hmm. Right? Tell me about it.
Fuck me sideways.
So again, now that he has the kid, he has to figure out what he's going to do with him, and you think, oh, okay, he's taking him to a church now, surely, he'll get sanctuary, he'll protect him at the church. No, that's not a church, that's a church-themed brothel, and that's a prostitute he was talking to.
I do like the reveal here, how you think like, oh, like a nun answers the door, and then it cuts to like the reverse shot, and it's like she's in a nun garb, but it's got no back to it, so she's like completely naked.
Where's Quintana?
Wait, Smith, Mistress Dawn is with a customer. Wait, you can't go up there.
Assless chaps.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny.
Good old assless chaps. Again, Matt will have to censor this in a fun way with our little animated faces on the ass. Because, as we know from YouTube, horrible, deplorable violence is okay, but you better not swear and you better not whip it out.
As long as it's not in the 30 seconds from the video start, I think we're okay. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of Mosaic editing here.
Yeah. Tell me about it. But yeah, so Mr. Smith is here because he knows of a very special prostitute who caters to people with a lactation fetish. Which, I mean, hey, makes sense.
Yeah.
Kids hungry, gotta take them somewhere, and this is where we meet our female lead from the movie, Monica Bellucci's character, who her full name in the credits is Donna Q something. It's DQ. Her name is DQ. Get it? Dairy Queen. She is a Dairy Queen. Ha ha.
It's like so on the nose, but because of what this movie is, it's like, yeah, okay, cool, fine.
And and if Mr. Smith is the archetype of the sullen badass with a dark history that he's trying to overcome, then DQ is kind of an archetype we don't see anymore in action movies or anywhere else. She's the hooker with a heart of gold.
Yeah. This archetype's kind of like just disappeared from movies, hasn't it?
It has, which is a shame, because it's like, hey, we should be pro-sex work.
Yeah.
We should actually be writing more positive sex-working characters, and she kind of is, even though she does kind of fall into some, pits and trap holes that exist in, scripts like this, written by men that are, again, just trying to be archetypical. It's also one of those things, too, where if you know anything about biology, the second you see her, oh, she's lactating, but she doesn't have a child of her own. This is going to be fucking sad, isn't it, when she has to ultimately reveal this story? And she does, and it is fucking sad. This is another thing about this movie. It's silly Looney Tunes shit, it's wacky one-liners, and then just out of nowhere, oh yeah, dead babies.
Dead babies, yeah.
Again, why does this only have a 6 on IMDb? Why do, only I remember this?
Yeah, it's a weird, total whiplash, but for some reason it just, works with the film. It's like, yeah, if we're doing all this ultra violence, then yeah, let's go there, dead babies.
Yeah, let's go there. Why don't we? And of course, at first she doesn't want to help Clive Owen, and eventually, tells him to screw off. It's implied they have a history. It's implied that he's like a customer here. They don't really go much deeper into any of it, do they?
No, yeah, there is that like prior history, which makes me think is Smith an ABDL? Is Smith an adult baby?
Yeah, right. Does he have a lactation? No. The assless chap nun earlier said, isn't Mistress so and so more your type? Again, he's self-flagellating. He likes to be hurt. Which also weirdly makes a lot of sense given with what we're going to see him in the rest of the movie. And I'm glad you brought up the fetishism too, Matt, because the director also mentioned this on the commentary, that fetishism was actually a major inspiration for this movie, because he always assumed people that were way too into guns had a gun fetish.
Yeah, I can see that. I can absolutely see it, especially with like Americans.
Tell me about, again, your favorite Canadian and Australian here talking. And we see it reflected throughout the movie, too. People with their weird little tics and fetishes. Hertz clearly likes to hurt people. We see a guy who's into taxidermy later. Hell, the lady at the pawn shop is wearing 3 watches, showing that she clearly has some sort of time obsession.
Yeah, it's very strange seeing all of these things. Like, as you said, like Hertz, he likes to hurt because that's his name. It's a little bit more on the nose, and I think like who's the guy that does the taxidermy? He's like the gun guy as well. Hammerson. Yeah, even that name sounds very like, oh, it's a gun, hammer.
Yeah. Yes, Hammerson, son of hammers. He has inherited this gun empire. You cock a gun with a hammer. Again, it's all in there. It's all purposefully on the nose.
Ooh. Kinky.
So yeah, again, Hertz, ends up coming. Well, actually, Hertz kind of gets some like fun background business that you wouldn't expect a villain like this to get. Basically, his wife keeps bothering him on like his old-timey Nokia cell phone from 2007. His son's birthday is later in the week, and he keeps promising he's gonna wrap up this job and come home. And that's kind of like a long runner throughout the movie.
But yeah, and he also gets this weird thing because they're driving around with like the dead mother's body in like the car, and I think they go into like a bridge to like bury it, but he's like eyeing her, like it's like he's like going to like touch the body and everything, kind of like he's a what do you call those people? That's
necrophiliac.
That's the one.
Again, it's all about kinks and all about fetishes in this movie. Hertz gets like a pretty messed up torture scene there too, wherein he keeps shooting off his Desert Eagle and then burning DQ with the tip of it. Another thing that not a lot of action movies honor about guns, and that is, the tips get really fucking hot.
Yeah, the more you fire it, the hotter it gets.
Oh, we also forgot to mention, too, early on in the movie, Smith stole Hertz's Desert Eagle and was going to use it to shoot him, only to find out he couldn't because it had a biometric lock on it.
The gun will only fire when it recognizes the thumbprint of the owner.
Now, again, you got to remember, this movie came out in 2007. That was science fiction at the time. Those are real now. But again, that's also kind of part of this, and also kind of tips you off to who Hertz might be working for, that he has this advanced, almost science fiction-y gun technology.
Yeah, I think Smith puts that together not too long after this, where he realizes that, like, some of these guns are like brand new, not even on the street yet, and they're owned by a Hammersman.
So surely this is part of the much bigger conspiracy that he must try and uncover. This also means that him and Hertz have themselves another little shootout. Hertz gets shot, but don't worry, he's the only villain in this movie who thinks to actually wear a bulletproof vest to protect himself.
Yeah, I like how Smith gets around the biometric lock, where like Giamatti's like, haha, you can't use the gun because of the lock, and he's revealed to have cut off one of the thug's hands. He's using the thumb on like the little plate.
Again, creative, so creative is this movie, and after saving DQ, that means, okay, you're officially in this now, and we have our heroic trio. We have DQ, we have Smith, and we have the little baby who still has no name yet.
They do give it a name by the end of it.
Yes, they do eventually get there, but yeah, so now they're hitting the open road there. They're on their adventure. How are they going to escape? How many days do you think this movie actually takes place over? Because it feels like it only happens over a couple days.
Yeah, probably because it's nighttime now, then it turns daytime. Probably like 2 days.
It goes from day to night a couple times, and I know they stop to rest once or twice, because without that, the movie is basically just nonstop for 86 minutes.
It never lets you know like what the time is, where we are, what we're doing. Like it keeps going.
Yeah, some would call it relentless, but I think that's part of its charm, honestly, the fact that it doesn't let up and that it is so overtly relentless. So yeah, they're on the road now. They've stolen a car.
Smith again gets pissed off by a driver.
You see that? I fucking hate that.
So he ends up like rear-ending the guy and causing him a car accident.
Which, fair enough. I mean, that was just going to happen to that guy eventually. He just sped it up a little bit is all he did. Yeah. Now, is it the pawn shop next? If I'm recalling again, it's kind of hard to keep this movie straight because it is just action scene to action scene.
Yeah. Well, I think after this, they go to the pawnbroker. Because Smith, something this movie's a Looney Tunes movie, but its adherence to like realism is just strange because he needs to buy ammo for his gun.
Yes, this is one of the few movies where early on they're actually having you count bullets. They make a solid point of saying that Hertz's Desert Eagle is actually a 6-shooter and only has 6 bullets, which I think in real life they carry 9, but some versions only carry 6. And I only know that from playing video games where some Desert Eagles only have 6 bullets. Again, you sacrifice ammo capacity for power. And the pawn scene is hilarious, too, because we, again, kind of understand how this homeless James Bond that is Smith makes a living, and he tries to trade food stamps for bullets.
How about we make up the difference with food stamps?
You want to buy bullets with food stamps?
It's as good as cash.
He tries to trade food stamps, then he tries to give over his blood donation check thing that they give him, yeah.
And then when that doesn't work, the lady jokingly says, "Oh, do you got a check from the sperm bank too?" And he's like, "Oh, that doesn't come till Wednesday." We also discovered too that $5,000 that he tried to bribe DQ with earlier on was fake. It was one of those things where the real bill was on the outside and the rest was all bullshit. Yeah. Well, thankfully, this is America and bullets are relatively cheap, or at least they were in 2007. Everything's expensive now.
Oh, yeah, everything. Because it's funny, because he goes in there and he has like a shopping list of like what he wants, and it's just like, because this is America, that's just readily available for him, of course.
yeah, of course you can get whatever you want here, especially at a pawn shop where they don't give a shit. They just want to make some money selling some stuff that may or may not be stolen. DQ gets a cute moment too where she wants something for the baby and ends up turning a trick to do it and gets the baby a little bulletproof vest that he will be wearing for the rest of the movie. And I'm like, oh, that's good. I'm glad you thought about that, so I am not forever worried about this baby catching a stray or catching a ricochet.
Yeah, we're looking after the baby, we're protecting the baby. One thing also I want to point out with the pawn shop, it's like you would never actually see it unless you're like watching like a proper like a Blu-ray version, but like on all of the windows of the pawnbroker is like ads for like gun fairs and like call to arms and just like stuff like that.
Oh, that's good. And again, that's accurate too, because this movie is commenting on gun culture. And when we eventually learn Smith's sad origin story, it will all make way more sense.
Yes.
And we don't learn that till basically till the end of the movie.
Yeah, in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, do they actually give you his sad origin story? Something's up with him, and in fact, that's kind of DQ's thing, trying to get him to open up about himself and, explain why he is this, hateful shell of a man.
Yeah, because he doesn't like anyone he comes across, basically. I think he even calls himself antisocial. Yeah.
Yes, he does, which again, pretty big word for an action movie in 2007.
Yes, he's very much well aware of what he is, and he's fine with that, but he knows no one else is.
Yes, he's a big misanthrope, and, he takes DQ and the baby back to his homeless fortress of solitude, the only place where he thinks he's going to be safe. I love the design of this place, don't you?
Yeah, this is like ramshackle, like warehouse thing. He's got like his door lock is his pet rat.
He is so homeless James Bond. It is crazy. And we are setting up nice and early that he does have this tactical mind and that he is this weird inventor. And he also has like a whole hydroponic farm where he grows his carrots.
Yeah, it seems like obviously he's like homeless and like living in squalor, but like compared to like every other homeless guy we've seen in this film, like he's doing pretty well.
He is doing very good.
Was once an FBI profiler.
Forensic behavior consultant.
Hertz ends up catching up to them as we learn he was actually a former FBI profiler, though he hates it when you call him an FBI profiler. He's like, no, I was a behavioral analysis freelance. Get it right, damn it.
Which seems like such a thing, like a type of person like that would do. Like, they just have to kind of make themselves sound a bit more important.
Yes, again, why they would be angry at that. And also, too, right before this, before Hertz raids the Fortress of Solitude there, he has to actually make calls to get more henchmen, and that's just another very funny thing to me that you don't see in action movies like this when heroes kill 10s, 20s, 30s of henchmen, where it's like, yeah, well, I gotta get more.
Yeah, and I love how he's like, he's in the place where Smith and that are, and he's just like in like the stairwell, and he's just like waiting for all these guys to turn up, and they eventually do turn up. There's like 50 of them just file through the door, and he's doing that thing with the birthday card where he's trying to figure out which one his son would like more, the one that with the cutesy animal or the one with the woman in the bikini.
Yeah, to which the guy actually bothers asking, well, how old is your son? 10?
Yeah.
What a fucking freak. Also, unlike other villains too, Hertz makes a solid point of leading from the front. Unlike every other action movie villain who would just send legions of his henchmen to die, he's always going in first. He even has like a funny little bit there where he says, leaders who command from the rear take it in the rear, or something like that.
yeah, he's a man of action. This Hertz.
Yeah, wow. He also just called armchair generals gay. Wow, how about that? That's the kind of movie it is, people. And also, all the henchmen look exactly alike, as we mentioned before. So that shot is even more hilarious when they all just show up. They're all dressed exactly the same.
They all look, they're all like again, it's like a video game. It's like they've got like 4 or 5 different like models. For the NPC villains and that you guys just going to blow away and move past without really looking at, and that's exactly what it is here.
Yes, the baby who they name Oliver because he is an orphan and because apparently Mr. Smith did not hate the book that Oliver is based on. They give him that name before realizing that he is calmed by the sounds of heavy metal and cries at namby politicians talking about gun control. That will actually be important later.
Yes, that does come back.
That's not just a throwaway joke. That's actually important later. And this leads Smith to conclude, perhaps the baby absorbed a bunch of heavy metal music in utero. Perhaps that's where we should go next. We should look at heavy metal clubs in the area. But first, we gotta shoot our way out yet again.
When a politician rants about gun control, he cries.
So tonight,
Switch to this channel with this heavy metal music. He shuts up.
Yet again, we gotta shoot our way through his warehouse.
That is like a heat action in the Yakuza games. That's like something you would do if you had enough points. That's awesome, and it's also in this point too. I am very much reminded that the writer-director of this movie started his career in storyboarding, because you can literally see the storyboards for this, about how he put it all together in his mind and why he was a good choice for this material.
Yeah, it you can tell every shot he does, it has like a purpose. Like, it's not just like a big locked off shot. It's like, well, we need to move here, then here, then here, and it's like he kills this guy, and then he gets to the stairwell.
Yes, it's all very, very deliberate, and he's changing guns like 100 times this. He's got a Scorpion, he's got a Mossberg, he's got, twin Berettas and everything. Again, just like a video game, he's killing guys and picking up their weapons.
Yep, and he does the old fall down the stairwell on like the thug, like pulls him down through ropes. And he kills a bunch of guys as he goes down the stairwell. And I like when he hits the guy on the bottom when he drops onto the floor, and the guy like coughs up his guts, basically. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, right? It's beautiful, and you figure that's how it would have to go in real life, but you never see it in a movie.
No, you never do.
Him and Hertz also lock eyes for a few minutes, too, as he's coming down the stairwell, and I'm like, yep, this is the Bugs-Elmer relationship right there. Like, ooh, you rascally Smith, ooh, I'll get you next time.
Yeah, I think this is the moment Hertz has realized, like, oh, there's more to this guy. There's a bit more to him.
Yeah, I think he even has a line that was in all the trailers that honestly is what made me want to see the movie, where he says something akin to like, is he really good or do we just suck?
Do we really suck? Or is this guy really that good? Come on, boys!
And it's true. Yeah, are these guys just really good or do we just suck? I don't know.
They just suck. They're just nameless goons.
It's a little of both. They make their way to the heavy metal club, which Smith, in his detective mind, managed to riddle out that this is the closest heavy metal club to the place where the kid's mother died. So surely this must be the place, and indeed it is.
Yeah, they also find like a bunch of like newborn diapers, like packages in the trash of this club, which is like not conspicuous at all.
No, not at all. How could it possibly be? They get their way past the bouncer, who is also the owner, and the only way, he's this big, older Marilyn Manson-looking guy, which again makes me think this guy must be a real person and not just an actor, because who just looks like that every day? And it's actually DQ who gets him to let them upstairs by grabbing his Prince Albert piercing and twisting it off.
You ain't got the cojones.
yeah, that's holy shit.
Yeah, maybe one of the most painful things I have ever seen put to film. I rarely wince for all the other violence. I winced at that. No.
And the worst thing is like the guy like screams in pain, but then after that he's just kind of like nursing his crutch, where it's like, oh, you've just had like some like, this is like life-altering thing that just happened to you, and you're just like kind of taking it, just kind of walking in stride with it.
Whatever, it's all good. Again, the theme of fetishism. I never considered piercings, but to be a fetish. But I guess if you are getting a genital piercing, then it's certainly saying that you like something very much, either the pleasure or the pain of it. And this is where the movie takes, again, its first of what will be many actually shocking dark turns, where we discover that this, dead mother, Oliver's mother, wasn't the only one. She was actually part of a much bigger, much more secretive breeding program.
Yeah, they find like in the apartment above the club, there's like all these dead like agents. We learn that they're Secret Service agents, but they're all these like dead guys who are like obviously looking after these women, and I can't remember if it's said in the film, but they're obviously been killed by the mother, haven't they?
I don't think they ever explicitly said, but my assumption was she killed the agents and escaped. I don't know who killed the mothers.
What I think happened was the mothers were being killed, and she managed to escape in the chaos or something. Again, it's something that doesn't really matter, and we're probably putting too much like thought into it.
We probably are, but I guess Hertz thugs showed up, killed everybody, because the plan was to kill the mothers for Hammerson, which is part of the big reveal later. And she probably escaped them at that moment and made her way out.
Yeah, they do mention that like the pregnant woman had a gun. Like that wasn't one that she picked off someone. It was one that she actually had.
I guess so. And this is where we almost get into like some like fucked up proto-QAnon conspiracy shit, as Smith, again, showing that he's smarter than the average hobo gunslinger, puts together that these babies were being bred for their marrow. They all have the same father, and that, there must be some very sick person out there with some sort of, bone cancer, and this is the only way to keep them alive. But, someone caught wind of this and, ended up killing everybody. It's also here we realize, Hertz and his thugs are actually different than the lone man and his guys, because they all dress differently. They're called the babysitters, which is a fun bit.
Yeah, the lone man is actually in the rooms with them, because I guess it's implied he maybe killed these guys, because he is cleaning his gun.
Failing,
that's seemingly something he does, which I like kind of fetishing stuff, and like he's like polishing a very like phallic like symbol,
always
like always polishing it.
Always. And Smith even notes that, and that makes him uncomfortable. Like, this guy is really into his fucking gun as a surrogate penis.
Yeah. and again, it's like a massive gun as well.
It is. It's the biggest one. It's the Dirty Harry gun. Before the Desert Eagle, it was like the biggest, coolest, most dangerous cinema gun.
Yeah.
And also a 6-shooter in a world where everyone else is using, like, you know, automatic weapons and things that have more shots. This guy still chooses to use what is basically a cowboy gun.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty cool guns.
They really are. And they look great on film, too. That's the other thing. They look awesome on film. So now that Smith knows the truth that, okay, shit, this is much more, you know, this goes way deeper than we thought. We can't just go to the police. We just can't go to anyone now. We're all on our own, essentially, and we're caught between multiple factions who want this kid and who want to probably hurt the kid for completely different reasons.
Yeah, they've realized that there's quite a fair few things going on around them that they probably need to figure out and try and get this kid to safety. And I like it as well in this scene. We learn a little bit more about Smith, because obviously, like, he's trying to figure out what's going on in this, and we learn that, like, he's good at, like, you know, breaking into places. He's good at, like, lock picking stuff and, like, getting into, like, locks and everything. Did you notice as well, like, when he's lock picking like a keypad thingy to get into, like, one of the doors. He's using a syringe as, like, the lockpick.
No, I didn't catch that, actually. That's really clever.
Yeah, it's like it's just an old, like, crack syringe. Yeah.
Yeah, it is easy enough to do if you know what you're doing.
And you think they're going to get into another gunfight here because, like, some guys turn up, but Smith takes them all out quietly. He kills a guy with one of his carrots, which I think is, at this point, the second guy, because he killed a guy at the start of the movie with one.
Yes, those must be really good carrots. He also makes a crack, too, earlier about, like, oh, carrots are good for your eyesight, and he's a marksman, so, you know, obviously those things go together. Even though we know now that's actually kind of bullshit about carrots being good for your eyesight. That's more of a wives' tale thing, but certainly something that he would think back in 2007.
Yeah, and I also think the first guy he kills with it, he stabs through the eye.
Yeah, he stabs this guy through the eye. I think he stabbed the first guy through the throat, actually.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he puts it in his mouth. That's right.
And goes out the back of the head, which, hey, when it comes to movies that you will remember for the rest of your life, you're gonna remember when Clive Owen killed a man with a carrot. Long before John Wick was killing guys with pencils, Mr. Smith was killing guys with carrots. In fact, there's a lot of John Wickisms even later on in the movie, actually.
There is, yeah, doing, like, things years before John Wick ever did. Go to the hotel, they end up going to a hotel to hide out, so it's some, like, crappy fucking rundown apartment, and this is like the quiet moment of the film where the characters learn a little bit more about each other.
Yes, they do. I think this is also the moment, too, of tonal whiplash, where if the movie hadn't lost you already, I think this is where they lost everyone else in the movie theater at this point, because DQ eventually opens up about her own sad backstory, about how she had a child of her own, but her pimp punched her in the stomach, and it caused her to miscarry.
My pimp hit me in the stomach. My baby was delivered stillborn.
Wow, that's really sad. You know, anytime you bring up miscarriage in a movie, it's gonna bring the mood down just a little bit, especially this kind of miscarriage. And, you know, it's her moment of humanity, of really, you know, trying to relate to Smith and, you know, his own tragedy that we still don't know that much about, and, you know, this weirdo surrogate family that they're building with this baby Oliver. And then they take a hard fucking right turn after this, don't they?
They do, because I completely forgot this movie actually had this in it, but they have, like, a proper sex scene in, and it's a little tastefully shot more than I thought it was going to be. But that, as again, they use that to lean into an action scene.
Yes, they do. And the fact that we have a sex scene right after this woman opens up about her miscarriage, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, these two, you could have these two scenes in a movie today, but you could not have them back to back today, because it is honestly in some pretty bad taste. But the whole movie kind of revels in being in bad taste, and that, yeah, we have a shootout sex scene. When have you ever seen that in a movie before?
Yeah, not for a long while. Not for a long while.
Yeah, a full-on, to climax shootout sex scene. And again, the director-writer is making a commentary, too, about, the culture of violence and the culture of sex and how guns are phallic and you're dropping loads one way or another. And, so, it's all connected, man. It's all kind of the same thing. I believe the late Roger Ebert, in his review of the movie, I think he was talking about the whole movie, but he was talking about this scene specifically, where he's like, I can't always condone a movie when it goes too far, but I'm always a little happy and a little, receptive for when they do. And I think this is that moment where it's like, okay, you definitely went too far for half the audience. You are going to be a cult movie now for the rest of your life. And yeah, it is. And I remember it.
Yeah, but it's a fun little action scene. There's like SWAT officers or something bursting into the room, and he's like killing them all as they're having sex, and then it just ends. And they're like, okay, we got to go somewhere safer.
Talk about shooting your load.
Boy, do they pick the last place I would think to be safer. They go to an arms and armament museum where Smith just literally locks DQ and the baby away in a tank.
In a disused tank, which it's pretty safe. It's a pretty safe place, but I don't know how they got into that tank without anyone seeing them.
My assumption is as a homeless guy, he must have lived there before, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
It's also right after this that we have another one of those things that Smith hates. And this also, again, feels 100% like the director airing his own grievance. Because it kind of comes out of nowhere. But it's also maybe one of my favorite scenes in the movie where he sees a mom hitting her son in public. And so what does Smith do? He just goes and publicly spanks the shit out of the woman in front of everyone.
Discipline my child as I see fit.
How would you like it if I spanked you?
Ow! Ow!
See?
Yeah, and she apparently, like, the actress really liked this, but of course, like the character does not like this, and her child loves it immensely.
Yeah, I think she even says this isn't funny, and it's like, I think it's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny, yeah.
It's pretty, and I guess too, like from a character moment, it's showing like, Mr. Smith was clearly a father before, he was clearly a parent, and he's kind of going back into that parenting mode now because he's been forced to care for this little baby and everything, and it's changing him for the better. He's having, whatever constitutes an arc in this movie.
Yeah, he's opening up a little bit.
He's opening up just a little bit. Now, what happened after this? Again, I like the movie. Yeah. I just watched it the other night, but it's already kind of a blur.
They end up going to Smith. He's figured out when those guys assaulted them in the hotel. That's where they found the guns from Hammerson. This always weirded me out because I'm sure we've got gun factories here in Australia because we do manufacture arms, but in America, it's obviously a big thing. And I always assumed those were out in the middle of nowhere, bumfuck nowhere, not like how it's portrayed here in this downtown the city.
That's a great question, Matt. I've never actually considered where guns and armaments are actually manufactured. I mean, Lockheed Martin, the place where they made the missiles, was right by Columbine. So again, maybe that's a piece of commentary the movie's making too, where it's you're never far from guns no matter what you think. And also, the brand is Hammerson. That's the fictional brand, but I believe in real life those are actually Heckler and Koch weapons.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So for anyone who really loves their guns, don't worry. I actually did a little bit of gun history on this one to make sure I wasn't 100% talking out of my, white ivory tower liberal ass. Don't worry. But yeah, so we learned the deal is that, Hammerson is all pissed off because, the bleeding heart politician we saw on the news later is a guy named Senator Rutledge. Rutledge is making a run for the president's office, and it looks like he is probably going to win because he is, get this, Matt, this is how the movie's a fantasy, because he's getting a lot of really good, buzz and a really good push behind him because of his anti-gun, gun control agenda for the states. Man, could you imagine a guy running for president who actually, got boosts because of an anti-gun take? Holy shit.
Not in America. Not in America.
This is how this is a fantasy. And this was in 2007. This is pre even some of the worst shootings we've just had recently and everything. And this is what the movie's saying, that, you know, this gun manufacturer, oh, we can't let this guy become president. We can't let him get elected, because if not, he'll ruin guns forever in America. He also has a whole big talk about Hertz, about, you know, like their take on, you know, guns and gun violence. And, you know, this guy basically does like his own take on that old Samuel Colt quote, where it's like, you know, God made man, but, you know, Samuel Colt made them equal. You know, America loves guns because it's the land of opportunity, and you have the opportunity to buy the biggest gun you want, so it doesn't matter if you're a weak little man or a pussy. You know, a gun will make you feel better.
You know why people in this country love guns? And it's got nothing to do with all that phallic mumbo jumbo like cocking your gun. No, Hertz, people love guns because America is a land of opportunity.
He's both like cartoonish in his like delivery and like villainous of that sort of stuff, but like also it's like, oh yeah, there's like actual people that like exist like that.
He was a cartoonish straw man in 2007. It's just real life got more cartoonish in straw man.
Yeah.
If anything, this movie and this guy has an almost fucking nuanced take on it, where it's like, oh, it's a freedom thing. And I think even Clive Owen and Hertz say something later to the point of where it's like, yeah, we all know that, you know, guns don't kill people kill people, but guns sure do make them easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, they help, yeah.
Not just a pussy with a gun in your hand.
Oh, no, sir, no. No, I'm not. I'm a tough guy with a pussy in my hand.
What accent is this, like, Hammerstein guy doing? It's like Foghorn Leghorn.
Oh, yeah, just total cartoonish Southerner. Also, Hammer Son, which makes me think, you know, maybe he's, like, also supposed to be Norse or German. But no, he's just full-on ass. I say, I sure do love these armaments. I say. Also, that actor has a massive forehead. That's like a 10 head. Seriously, that's all I could think. I'm like, man, why didn't they cast this guy to be the leader in Captain America? You wouldn't even need to do anything for him.
He looks like a budget Lance Hendrickson, which is saying something.
Yes, thank you. I thought for a second, like, wait, is that Lance Hendrickson? It's not, actually, but you're right. It really looks like it. You could tell they cast a Lance Hendrickson type. This easily leads to probably my favorite shootout, actually, of the whole movie, where we see Clive Owen's Mr. Smith go around, take out the guards, and then booby-trap the entire gun factory in a scene that really made me think, hey, this is like Skyfall. This is like what Skyfall would do many years later for James Bond. Holy shit.
Welcome to Scotland.
Yeah. I do find it funny that he was able to like just booby trap. He had all this time to set up all these different like booby traps around this factory that's supposed to obviously be making guns at this moment.
You'd think so. Well, you know, it was time for the big evil villain meeting, so, you know, they told everyone to, you know, to break for lunch. You know, they had a half day that day.
Yeah.
So yeah, this leads to, you know, my favorite shootout of the movie, where, you know, he's leading everyone around the factory, and it's just, you know, it's R-rated Home Alone. Guns keep going off, they keep cornering him, but oh wait, there's more guns on the ceiling and more string.
Yeah, he's got shotguns hiding behind boxes and guns. He has like one near the end where it's on like a pulley system that he basically turns this like assault rifle into like a turret.
Yep, homeless James Bond, man. Homeless James Bond.
Yeah, and this is like where we get like his backstory as well with his family and how they were at like a diner and like some crazy guy came in and like murdered them all.
I found out how your wife and son were killed. My God, what a tragedy. Some guy walks into a burger joint. He starts shooting up the place.
Yes, again, a public mass shooting. Our hero, our sullen badass hero, who, you know, is the greatest in the world with a gun. Turns out he is not only the victim of gun violence, but, oh, he actually sold the gun to the guy who killed his family. Oh, shit.
No shit, yeah.
Again, which, for 2007, as far as political messages go, pretty pointed and pretty even the people in the cheap seats could not deny that. And it's one of those sad things where it's like, statistically speaking, with how many mass shootings there are in the States, that's had to have happened, right? Like, more than once?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so either someone's like, whoever sold like the guy the gun, like their kid or like wife or something was killed, or like the bullets or something. Yeah, something has to have happened.
Right, you would really think it, and of course Hertz figured this out because he's a profiler and he thinks that, it's going to be, pardon the pun here, his silver bullet to take Smith down because he knows his true origin and everything. Doesn't work, though.
Smith it really just doesn't give a shit about it. Just like, I'm just going to kill you all now.
Yeah, just gonna kill you all, but we can't do it all yet because there's still work to be done here. There's still more of the conspiracy that needs to be unraveled, and we also need to get. I think it's after this he ends up seeing the baby in DQ again and says, "Okay, the conspiracy is too deep. You got to get out of here. I'm sending you away on this hippie day trip bus that goes wherever."
They'll be watching the trains, the bus stations, and the airports. So I think this is the safest way to get out of town.
Yeah, we don't know where it's going to stop, and that's the whole point. He doesn't want to know where they're going, so in case they torture him, I guess.
Which they do.
Yeah, they do. They end up doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, which they do in fact torture the shit out of him, so he was correct to do that. And he tries to set a meeting for himself and, Senator Rutledge, the last piece of the puzzle that we haven't really seen yet. But of course, to get to Rutledge, he first has to do a crazy car chase, because we've done every other type of gunfight. We haven't done a car chase gunfight yet.
Yeah, and it's a pretty decent car chase.
It really is, isn't it? And this is again, 2007, before everything was done on computers and blue screen. So this was a practical car stunt show.
Yeah. The car chase also feels very James Bondy. He's firing machine guns. I think literally the year after this was made, they had Quantum of Solace, and that opened with a big car chase where Bond's firing machine guns and stuff from the car doors and everything, car door getting ripped off and everything. And even he's driving a red BMW, which at the time I think it had just finished, but at that time James Bond's car of choice was a BMW.
That's right. That was also my favorite part of Quantum of Solace, too. That cool-ass car chase in the first 5 minutes. Yeah. Then the rest of Quantum of Solace happened.
Yeah. Then the next 2.5 hours happened, yeah.
But yeah, they have this cool-ass thing. The big crescendo being that, the van full of henchmen is, barreling right for Clive Owen and the baby. What the hell is he going to do? Oh, he just shoots through his own window so he can missile himself out into the bad guy's vehicle and then shoot them all.
Physics doesn't really apply to Smith, so he ejects himself into their car, and then he just kind of stops. It just kind of falls. He doesn't go through their back window or anything. He just kind of stops, and he's able to kill them all.
Bugs Bunny, man. He's fucking Bugs Bunny through and through. And you think oh no, but he left the baby on the road. How is he going to save the baby? And they have a moment here that very much reminds me of Toxic Avenger, where you think oh no, Hertz is barreling down the road and oh, he's going to run the baby over. Oh no, he run the baby over. Did we actually see that? Did we actually see a dead baby? Nah, it was a doll.
Yeah, it was some rigged up weird, I don't know where the fuck they would have gotten that from, but yeah, some rigged up doll. And even Hertz is what the fuck is that? What the fuck?
What in the hell is that?
Yeah, he calls him a sick person, this was too much for him. Where did you get that animatronic baby doll head? How did you get it to sound so realistic? I'm sick in the head, but you are fucked, good sir. You are 100% fucked. And yeah, that's kind of the exclamation point to that scene. And I'm yeah, well done.
Yep.
And this all leads us to finally the big showdown here with, the secondary antagonist who we haven't seen yet, Senator Rutledge, who the only way he would agree to meet with Smith is if he met him on his private plane, because he's on the campaign trail. He's trying to be elected president, and he's sick and dying. We've seen him on TV a bunch, and Smith even says, "Wow, you look even worse in person." It's like, the wonders of makeup and modern television.
Yeah, he's like in the back of his plane, hooked up to like dialysis machines and all sorts of stuff.
You look worse than you do on TV.
Yes, it's amazing what a little makeup can do.
And a lot of morphine.
Yes, again, this is our evil liberal politician who is trying to become president and ruin guns, even if his whole justification is like, this is the I'm doing the Lord's work, I'm doing good work. It's fine if I have to hurt some babies for their bone marrow if this is the only way. But really my intentions are good. And it's like, okay, the politics of this are going a little bit nuts. Where the hell are they going to go with this one? Only for Hertz and Hammerson to end up coming out and going, actually, he's in our pocket, too. He's actually in the pocket of Big Gun. It was actually very easy.
You see, Rutledge called us and he offered us a proposition that we had never dreamed was possible. In exchange for his life, the senator promised to protect our rights.
To go deer hunting with an Uzi.
Like, man, this is the biggest political message of the movie. It doesn't matter what political party you're a part of. Big Gun and the gun lobby is just so big and so insidious. They can literally buy anyone and everyone at any time.
Yeah, they've like bribed him to like quell his bill once he gets elected, I believe.
Yes, he's like, I'll win the election and then I'll say I had a change of mind. I'll go full Fetterman, you see.
Yeah. I'll have like we'll make it seem like I had some sort of stroke, and then after that I'll never be the same.
I will never be the same again. Yeah. That is my plan. Again, this movie predicted the future, man.
Yeah, I'll start wearing like hoodies and shorts into congressional hearings and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, completely normal things. A completely normal, sane person does.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I listened to the gun lobby, and they made a lot of good purchases. I mean, a lot of good points.
Yeah, a lot of good donations. I mean, points. Yeah.
And Smith isn't having any of this, and even though he's outnumbered and outgunned, he just grabs the senator and goes like, "Well, you're not going to shoot the senator, so I guess I'm good."
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. He escapes down into like the cargo hold of the wheel well of the plane, and the senator's like, "Oh yeah, like if I die, like I'll be a martyr, and like his bill will pass eventually." So he's like, kind of has that kind of change of heart almost, but it's done in such a way where it's like, oh, he's only kind of doing it just for like the glory.
Yes, again, better to be a dead martyr and a dead hero than a living compromised guy. In death, my legacy will be I actually pass my anti-gun law.
Your assassination, Rutledge, will create a public outrage and trigger immense support for your proposals.
And I guess he won't have to hurt any children doing it this way, so better off. But Smith's reaction is the best. He's going on this whole, "Oh, I've changed, I've seen the light" speech, and Smith just shoots him. And again, the movie very smartly is like, well, so I guess it's over now. I guess all he has to do is escape. And escape he does in the craziest fashion. Damn it!
He inexplicably gets like a parachute from somewhere. I guess they have him on planes, but like he's just able to like skydive out of this like. Well, we see the plane earlier on. It's like an airliner.
Yes, again, it's not like a private plane. It's like a full 747.
Yeah, and of course he's followed out by nameless black-clad goons for him to like murder while he's free falling.
Yes, and the lone man who was part of Rutledge's security detail, so he gets to have a final showdown with him while soaring through the air, and he gets cut up by fucking helicopter blades, and it's pretty brutal. Yeah,
it's just like a helicopter, just like it's just like a helicopter, like flying at a very high altitude for a helicopter, and he just gets like minced by it.
It just happened. It just happened to be there.
Guns don't kill people, but they sure help.
For this movie, which didn't have that much of a bigger budget, like this is like a big budget set piece. It's all filmed against a green screen. None of this is real.
And you can tell.
It's pretty good. It's pretty decent.
It's ambitious is what it is. I appreciate it for being ambitious, even where I'm like, ooh, some of this has aged pretty badly, but I appreciate what you're doing. And again, I can see the storyboard artist in you because, this is just too cool to not shoot.
Exactly, yeah.
And shoot they do. They shoot everything. My favorite part isn't even the shootout in the sky itself. It's when he goes to land and you see all the dead bodies littering the ground that have fallen from such a height and exploded all around him.
During this as well, Smith also gets like shot in the arm, and I kind of like how they treat it, because throughout the film we've seen like people getting shot and everything, and they will die and everything, and like he hasn't been shot up until this point, and like when he gets hit in the arm, it's definitely the arm. It's like he's on like 10% health. Like he's like weak. He has to. I think he like goes and like lays down in like a warehouse because he like passes out or something. And like, you've been shot in the arm. We've seen you do so many like wild things throughout this entire film, and that's what like takes you out.
And isn't that just so movies too, where it's like, you know, there's good injuries and bad injuries in movies there, and like you can be an action hero and get torn to pieces by so many bullets, but be like, nah, it's fine, they were good injuries, but no, that was a bad injury, that was a story important injury is what that was.
It reminds me of Last Action Hero, where Arnold gets shot in the real world and he gets taken back into the movie world, and they're like, and he's got like this giant hole in his chest, and it's like, this is just a flesh wound, what is this?
What is this, some kind of a joke? I wouldn't even call this a flesh wound.
It's 100% that moment. And again, the movie is a comedy. It's leaning on the fourth wall. It is referencing movies. It knows you know that as a movie fan, like, oh shit, that was a real injury.
Yeah.
So, this leads us to our big finale there. DQ and the baby escape without Clive Owen Smith, which means that he is all alone to take on Hertz and Hammerson, you know, for the big actual finale. He killed the mini-boss. Now it's time to kill the real big boss. And because this is also kind of riffing on and making fun of conspiracy thrillers as well, you would think like, well, why does Hertz and Hammerson even care now? Freaking, you know, Rutledge is dead. They literally have no more dogs in this race anymore. Only for Hertz to be like, I'm such an evil villain. I was getting paid by everybody, and now the government is paying me to cover up this murder of a senator.
I just got a bigger contract because of you. I mean, I wasn't just on Hammerson's payroll, you know.
Which I love. I love villains like that, where it's like, I have no compunctions, I have no morals, I will get paid once, twice, 3 times by everybody, I don't care.
Yes, I'm just evil for the sake of being evil.
Also, there's another running gag we didn't talk about. Hammerson has a German Shepherd that he loves a whole lot, but he also loves taxidermy and clearly kills every other type of animal and stuffs them, including his old German Shepherds.
Don't you worry, Duchess. This ain't gonna happen to you. Not for a few years, anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's implied that like when his German Shepherd dies, he will taxidermist. I also really like that we don't get a lot of like scenes that show the taxidermy, but like the ones we do, he's clearly really shit at it.
Yeah, right? Yeah, his job is so bad.
Like the dog looks at like his living dog looks at like what I guess was the previous dog he had, and like it just looks terrible. It's got like the wide eyes, and it's just like it doesn't look like it's like been like prepped properly or at all. It just looks awful.
This is also the point in the movie, too, where they actually pay off several Chekhov's gun, to where lines that they mentioned earlier in the movie, where Clive Owen's like, oh, don't tell me where you're going. It's better I don't know because they might torture me. Hurt starts breaking his fingers because, again, if you're a marksman, if you're a shooter, you're going to need those for, you know, actual pistol control. And this is also a callback to earlier on in the movie when they asked Smith about gun control, and he says, the only gun control I need is like my index finger, and that's the first finger he breaks.
To keep this on to make sure the gun doesn't go off accidentally. But really, this is your number one safety.
Yeah, and then after that, we find out he can't actually shoot guns with any of these other fingers. Like he's not as good as as he was.
No, doesn't stop him that much, though, but this is like the big... This is like Superman's kryptonite here, where it's like, oh, how do you up the stakes? How do you up the ante for the big finale here? You know, how is the hero going to fight back without his ability to shoot guns, his super gun fu? And the answer is mostly pretty fine.
Yeah, he finds a way. He finds a way to do it.
They do some gross stuff with a scalpel. They take, like, the taxidermy scalpel, and he's like, ooh, I'm gonna cut out your eyes, because you can't shoot if you don't have eyes. And, like, he does a thing where he gets, like, most of the scalpel in his hand and then uses it to dispatch the henchman.
Hertz is like holding the scalpel up to his head. He like headbutts the scalpel so it like cuts into like the skin at the like the front of his forehead, and like he uses that to like headbutt one of the other guys, and then he like puts it on his hand and like kills a guy. And doesn't he like spray blood at a Hammerson and then like stab him? Yeah, so
he does.
He like blinds him with his blood.
Yes, it's even grosser than I remember. Yeah. You're right, Matt. I'm so glad you remembered the scene. But yeah, so he dispatches all of the grunts, and then, of course, we have our big final showdown. Hertz and Smith, who is going to win here? But it's not your traditional Wild West showdown, because obviously he doesn't have use of his fingers anymore, so he has to get really creative and really clever about how he actually does the shooting.
Yeah. He tries to use his hands to begin with, but he can't because of his fingers are broken. So he ends up just taking like a bunch of the shells out of the gun, and he holds them between his fingers and then holds his hand over a fire.
Until they heat like popcorn and freaking shoot him multiple times. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I guess if all your fingers are broken, your hand's probably hurting a lot. So what's, like a little third-degree burn, right?
I am dead on about who you are, right?
Say that again.
I said I am dead.
Stop. That part of it you got right.
Yeah, and what's to say like the bullets like blowing up as well won't hurt as well, but he won't feel that because like he's already in enough pain. It's fine.
He's already enough blinding pain. But this is how we know Smith is a good guy too, because as Hertz lays dying there, he actually lets him talk to his wife one last time, only to find out that after continually missing her calls and missing his son's birthday, she was going to divorce him anyway when he came home.
Hey, honey. She's leaving me.
I also like that we don't actually get to see his wife or son. It's just like things we hear him talk about on the phone that you can kind of imply what they're talking about.
It's a good running bit, and of course eventually we get, one last heroic shot off there that leaves like a big, weeping hole in his chest there, because obviously we've been building up this villain all movie long, so his death needs to be, fittingly climactic.
Yeah, it's the full stop to say that, okay, this guy's not getting back up.
Yes, again, he's dead for real, everyone. Jason is dead, Michael Myers is dead. The movie can, be over now. And, we get a whole big thing there where, Smith leaves generic unnamed city to try and track down DQ and Oliver wherever they may be going, and he boards the hippie bus to wherever with the dog, actually, with Hammerson's dog, which that's what I meant when I said this is very early John Wick, that he befriends a baby and a dog right away.
Yeah, he has the dog, which I imagine if there was like a sequel, the dog would be his partner.
Yes, of course, and the dog would shoot people too, like John Wick.
Yeah. This film, he'd probably have built something for the dog to like run around with machine guns on it or something.
I mean, that sounds pretty fucking dope, honestly. I'm not gonna lie.
It reminds me of that Saturday Night Live bit they did, some like toy for kids, but it was like weapons for animals, whereas basically you put like missiles and stuff on like your cats.
Love it. Love everything about it. And eventually Smith travels on the bus to wherever, to the end of the line, to a big ice cream themed restaurant that it looks like a boob, right? I'm not going crazy. That looked like a big boob.
It does. And it's also called Dream Queen, DQ.
Ah, Again, they wanted Dairy Queen, but, Dairy Queen back in 2007, they were fucking cowards, man, and they wouldn't, partner with Shoot 'em Up, the next great breakthrough movie of the year. Maybe that's what they needed, Matt. Maybe the Dairy Queen sponsorship is what really could have made this movie and ended up breaking it instead.
Yeah, it would have pushed it over that line, yeah.
They could have had a bullet blizzard, I think that would have been good. The bite the bullet blizzard. Ow, there's real metal in it. That's how you know it's good. And, of course, DQ has gotten a job there serving ice cream, though she's not very good at it because the second she sees Smith, she just drops everything, literally.
Of course, while they're reuniting, the place is held up by a bunch of fucking meth addict, fentanyl addicts or whatever.
Oh, that they weren't doing the fentanyl back then. That was still brand new. But yeah, with disgusting feet, and I like that one guy in the credits is actually called, Robber with disgusting feet.
Yeah, one has, gross feet in, Birkenstocks. The other guy has, a weird earring. The other guy is just, I think are just, a normal thug. And Smith takes them all out because he hates each of their individual things, so he shoots, the guy in the foot. And he does all this with broken hands. He puts, the gun on, on his carrot. And just racks it with his hand is pretty cool.
This is also, things coming full circle now. Smith couldn't save his original wife and child from, the restaurant shooting, but he can save these two now from a similar situation. This is his great reward for everything. He couldn't shoot that guy back then, but he can shoot these guys now, you see.
And it brings us to the message of the film, which is guns are fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's the thing, are guns good for America? Are they bad for America? Is America's obsession with gun violence in movies, indicative of a wider, cultural addiction to guns and violence? Doesn't matter at the end of the movie. At the end of the movie, gun violence in movies is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, it is so cool. That man killed a guy with a carrot. Holy shit, the end. Motley Crue.
Yeah, Motley Crue.
Motley Crue. And that's Shoot 'em Up. And honestly, I think our review might actually be as long as the movie because it's not actually that long. It's a brisk 84, 86 minutes.
It is. It's from a time where action films like that could be that long and not 2.5 hour slog.
Yeah, this one did not do great at the box office. It was only a $30 million budget, which is almost unheard of now to release a movie like this in theaters that only cost $30 million. I think it made 25. It lost the money, and the director never did anything again after this, which is a shame because he's clearly super talented, has a good eye for story and action and archetypes, and it's kind of a bummer he never got to do anything else. He was also 46 at the time he made this and had a whole previous career in storyboards, so maybe that's why that this was kind of the end.
Yeah, he seems like he was kind of one of those guys where it's he's very technically talented, but when it comes to movies, maybe he should have just stayed as the art guy. It's a fun film, but yeah, he never made anything. I think he's done some animation or something. I saw on his IMDb there was some animation stuff that he did in 2022, but it's really nothing. I know he wrote he wrote Double Dragon, which is a terrible video game movie from the 90s.
He's also done apparently some YouTube interviews too. I mean, if we asked nicely, we probably could have got him to sit in on this.
Yeah, probably.
Hey man, tell us all about it. I mentioned it before, not only do I remember seeing this movie back in high school, I remember listening to the commentary, and I think that's what made it stick with me more than anything, just the love and the passion and the excitement this guy had for the one movie he got to make. So if we have convinced you to track down this movie, I ask you also track down the commentary, because it is also very much worth a listen back in the day when more movies had commentary and when that was a selling point.
I'll have to see if my Blu-ray has it, because I bought this on Blu-ray for this.
Oh, nice.
I'll have to see if it's got the commentary and stuff on it, because yeah, that's how I found out about the film. I found it on DVD in 2009 or something.
I mean, I guess my parting thoughts for this is is Shoot 'em Up a good movie? It's definitely a little better than I remember it being, and I'm glad it's not a case of like, oh, I was just in high school when I saw it. I actually had a good time revisiting this, and it's just such an interesting, like, you know, time capsule of an era that is not that long ago, only 2007, but like right before a huge seismic shift in the Hollywood and entertainment landscape, where it's like this movie could only have been made in this very brief, you know, window of time.
Yeah, I think about like, oh, okay, so like if we were to make this film like now, this would be it would be shot in like fucking Bucharest by the guy who does all those Bruce Willis, Steven Seagal films. Yeah, it'd probably still have Clive Owen in it because he does some of those films every now and then.
Yes, he does. Jason Statham is too busy. And Keanu Reeves is too famous.
Yeah, it'd either be him or like one of those guys from those geezer teasers, of like a Scott Eastwood or someone like that. Yeah, and it wouldn't be as nearly as interesting with like the action, because they shoot on like a $2 budget in those films, and they shoot on like fucking iPhones or something.
You beat me to it. I was going to say it would be shot on an iPhone. Again, the political messages would either be way more direct and way more ugly, or just non-existent at all.
Yeah, or because if you've ever seen some of those geezers, his is just completely right-wing.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I meant when I said it could have been way uglier.
Yeah, the bad guy would be, I don't know, Hunter Biden or something, you know?
Right, with his he's controlling all of this from his laptop, you see. That he also pawned at the pawn shop with the lady with 3 watches for some reason.
Yeah, to get some drugs, because that's what he does.
Naturally, this is what it's all about. But yes, so I mean, really, I'm shocked we were actually able to get this much out of Shoot 'Em Up, because, you know, when I saw this, I'm like, man, I really enjoyed revisiting this, but also like, Jesus, there's going to be enough content here for me and Matt to make a whole episode about, and I think we did. And, you know, hopefully we've, you know, made you interested enough to check this out. There's worse things you can do with your time than see Shoot 'Em Up.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's the type of film you can like watch on your own and have a good time, but you really want to watch with like a group of people, you know, maybe get a little tipsy while watching it, because it's a fun film. Oh, yeah. It's a fun film.
It's a fun film. It's also, I think, you know, perfectly indicative of what, you know, I hope we can continue to do with this series, because it's like the definition of a cult movie, of like a hidden gem, where it's like, there's a damn good chance you never heard of this or saw this.
Yeah. I would be surprised if like we get more than 5 comments of people saying, oh, I saw this film. I went to the movies and saw this film. If you went to the movies and saw this film, please comment below.
Yes, absolutely. Tell us if you have seen or heard of this movie before. If so, where did you hear about it? Because, you know, again, I heard about this because of Blockbuster, because of DVD trailers from back in the day. And also, too, you know, hey, what's another movie you'd like to see us, you know, talk about in the future? Obviously, we talked about Hard Boiled, because this movie is basically just a big, you know, extension of one scene in Hard Boiled. I was also reminded of, remember that Brie Larson movie, Free Fire, I think it was called?
No.
So it had a very similar premise, where this movie's like, hey, what if we did a whole movie where every scene had a shootout in it? Free Fire was basically, can we make one whole movie out of one shootout scene?
Yeah, right.
I did watch it, and I don't remember fucking anything about it.
Oh, it's made by Ben Wheatley. I should watch that. I like some of his films. He does some pretty good films.
All right, there's another one we might have to watch. Maybe this will be part of my own little arc here, Joel's gun wank arc of forgotten cult movies.
You bring the gun wank, I'll bring the obscure horror films.
Yeah, there you go, and we'll just trade back and forth, and then we'll figure something else out later. I'll do, like, weird road trip musicals.
Well, I get to pick the next film, and I think since we've done a horror, we've done an action, I think we need to do a sci-fi.
Good idea.
Yeah, I'll have to decide which type of sci-fi we want to go for.
It'll be a surprise to me, too.
Yeah, it'll be a surprise to me, too, after consult our spreadsheet.
Yes, our big list there. Yeah, we'll have to throw a dart at that and figure it out. But yeah, I mean, I guess we can start winding this one down then, or else we'll just keep talking.
Yeah. Well, this talk of an 86-minute movie will turn into like a 2.5-hour talk.
Right, which is the greatest tribute we can really give.
All right, so with that, we'll, I guess, wrap up everything. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you haven't checked out the first episode where we talked about the Blob, you'll find it in a playlist here. It'll probably be in the recommended as well for this video. We like doing that one. That was a great film. This was another great film. We enjoyed doing this. Try and find where you can watch it. I think this is on Max. At least it is here in Australia. I don't know where it is in the rest of the world. But I imagine it's somewhere buried in some streaming service somewhere. This is streaming fodder now.
Consult your local Walmart discount bin. I'm sure it's in there.
But yeah, thank you for joining us. We're going to try and do these a little bit more consistent with one coming every month at the end of every month. And yeah, the next one will be a sci-fi one. So stay tuned for that. And thank you everyone for joining us. Joel, do you have anything you want to add to this closer?
No, not at all. Just that I love what this show is becoming. Only 2 episodes, and I love that we can cast such a net over all of this. And I hope people enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it.
Yeah, it's great. So until next time, thank you everyone for joining us. And this is the Multiverse Movie Club signing out.